Life has a way of testing us, constantly pushing us to control every little detail. The timing, the outcomes, how people respond, what stays, what leaves. And the more we try to force it, the more life resists. Have you ever noticed that? The harder you chase peace, love, or success, the faster it runs. You follow the rules, you visualize, you manifest, yet the silence remains. And that silence starts to feel like rejection. The moment you stop demanding from the universe is the moment it starts delivering. This isn't just spiritual poetry. It's a truth hidden in ancient Buddhist wisdom. Because what if the universe isn't punishing you? It's preparing you. What if your restless energy is the only thing blocking the very things you're meant to receive? So ask yourself, are you truly calm or just quietly clinging? In this video, we'll uncover why letting go isn't defeat, it's divine alignment. Why staying calm is not passive, but powerful. Why the moment you stop needing is the moment everything starts arriving. And yes, there's one rare, life-changing bonus lesson at the end. The kind that shifts how you move through the world. Stay with me. Because if you're going to get anything out of this video, just get this. You don't attract what you want. You attract who you are when you stop forcing and start flowing. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I'm ready to receive." And remember, sometimes the universe doesn't need you to act, it just needs you to finally be still. 1. The universe waits for stillness. When the world within you grows loud, it becomes impossible to hear the whispers of the universe. You sit, you strive, you search, and yet everything feels just beyond reach. You wonder why nothing arrives, why the answers feel distant, and why the peace you seek remains hidden. But like a cup brimming with old water, you cannot be filled with new clarity until you empty what's already there. The universe does not ignore you. It waits for stillness, not for more effort, but for less noise, not for faster motion, but for deeper surrender. Buddhist wisdom teaches, you can only hear truth when your mind stops screaming. That means your healing, your clarity, and your next step. They are not hiding. They're simply waiting beneath the surface of your own noise. Like a feather that drifts gently onto a still pond, peace only settles where there is quiet. If you constantly stir the waters of your life with worry, overthinking, or restlessness, you blur the reflection of what already wants to come to you. The universe is not in a rush. It is always arriving, always unfolding, but only into hands that are open and a heart that is quiet. Imagine for a moment, your deepest desires are not chasing you. They are sitting quietly at your feet. But you keep looking into the distance, running from one thought to another, too full of tension to notice what is already near. Like the lotus that blooms only when the water around it stills, your peace blooms only when you stop forcing life to hurry. This is not passivity, this is alignment. The difference is everything. So many suffer not from lack, but from clinging to control, urgency, imagined timelines. In clinging, we forget that the bamboo bends in the storm because it does not resist. Can you bend with life? Can you pause when everything in you wants to rush? Can you trust that what's meant for you knows its way to you and does not need to be chased? Ask yourself now, what am I too full of to receive what I'm asking for? Is it fear, overthinking, the need to know everything before I move? Then ask deeper. Can I be still enough to truly hear what life is trying to tell me? The truth is that the answers you are seeking have always been nearby. They just need your silence, not your striving. Let go of the noise. Make room for the gentle. Breathe not to rush forward, but to come back to now. The universe does not shout, it waits in the quiet corners of your being. And in the stillness, you will find not just what you want, but what you truly deserve. Be still. The next blessing may already be knocking. Just stop the noise long enough to hear it. 2. The pull of desperation repels destiny. There is a moment in life when longing turns into desperation. You feel the pull to chase, to hold, to control what you deeply wish to keep. But the more tightly you grip, the more it slips away. Like trying to hold water in clenched fists. The harder you squeeze, the faster it escapes. The heart, in its silent panic, forgets that true blessings never need to be forced. The universe does not respond to panic. It responds to presence, to peace, to trust. Desperation may look like desire, but it is only fear in disguise. And fear speaks in a language the universe does not understand. Buddhist teachings remind us that attachment is the root of suffering. When you want something so deeply that you cannot imagine being whole without it, your energy shifts from creation to clinging. You begin to chase outcomes instead of living the moment. You begin to beg from life instead of receiving what is already aligned. Desperation is a signal that you've left the present and entered a future that doesn't yet exist. But peace lives only here, now in open hands and open hearts, in soft palms, not fists. Pause for a moment and breathe. Visualize your hands opening, not in defeat, but in deep faith. You let go, not because you've given up, but because you finally understand that what is truly yours cannot be taken, and what is not meant for you cannot be forced to stay. Gravity knows how to hold what is aligned with your path. It will not miss. But when you grip too hard, you interrupt the flow, you tighten the channels, and you close the very space through which your blessings were meant to enter. Ask yourself gently, what fear am I calling desire? Am I chasing this goal, this person, this outcome, because I believe it belongs to me, or because I'm terrified it doesn't? Let these questions settle into your chest. Sometimes, what we are desperate for is not what we truly need, but what we think will save us from emptiness. And that, too, is a misunderstanding. You were never empty. You were simply disconnected from your own stillness. The universe flows, it doesn't force. And what flows to you flows through faith. When your energy speaks the language of calm certainty, life listens. But when you scream through your fears, the message becomes distorted, unclear. So, release the panic. Let go of the grip. Stop clenching your future so tightly that it suffocates. Instead, trust that when you become light inside, life becomes light around you. Remember this. The more calmly you wait, the more clearly the path reveals itself. The universe is not late. You are just early with your fear. Trust the rhythm of unseen things. Trust the pull of what is meant to find you. In the end, you won't need to chase anything. You will only need to open your hands and receive. 3. When life is silent, the universe is rearranging. There is a strange and sacred stillness that arrives just before life changes. Everything slows, people drift, doors remain unopened. You begin to wonder if the path has ended, or worse, if it ever existed at all. You ask, why is everything so quiet? And the silence answers, not with sound, but with presence. Buddhist wisdom teaches that silence is not absence. It is preparation. The universe does not announce its miracles. It rearranges quietly, like clouds gathering before the rain. Invisible, yet inevitable. When life pauses, your mind grows restless. It craves movement, evidence, signs. But the deepest truths are not shouted, they are whispered. In the spaces where nothing seems to be happening, everything might be unfolding. The roots grow deepest in the darkness of the soil. The lotus blooms from the still water, not the storm. So ask yourself, can you find peace even when there is no progress to prove it? Can you trust what you cannot see, but can deeply sense? There was once a disciple who asked his master, "Why has nothing changed? I meditate, I wait, and still, I feel lost." The master smiled gently and pointed to a tree in the courtyard. "In winter," he said, "it looks like nothing is happening. But inside the bark, life is preparing. Spring is not a surprise to those who are patient." The student didn't respond. He just sat beside the tree and waited. That day, he didn't find answers, but he stopped needing them. That is when his peace returned. You may feel like you are stuck, but the universe is simply aligning what you cannot yet see. In silence, life rearranges, not for delay, but for precision. There is a timing that has nothing to do with your schedule. A higher intelligence that moves things into place not when you demand it, but when you're ready to receive it. Trust in that rhythm. Trust that the silence is not rejection, it is refinement. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Imagine all the unseen threads of your life being gently pulled into place. People you haven't met, opportunities you haven't imagined, strengths within you waiting to awaken. Nothing is wasted, not even this stillness, especially not this stillness, because it is in the pause that we become. In the pause, we hear what our busyness kept buried, and in that deep listening, we return to ourselves. Ask yourself now, what if silence is your biggest sign? What if this is the moment just before everything begins again, but this time aligned? The next chapter may not begin with fireworks, but with a whisper that says, "Now you are ready." Let that be enough. The universe delivers not on demand, but in divine timing. And your only task is to stay open, stay grounded, and stay calm enough to notice when it arrives. The stillness is sacred. Let it work. Let it speak. Let it prepare you for what's already on its way. 4. Faith is built in the unseen. Sometimes, life feels like standing in the dark. No path visible, no sign ahead, no proof that anything is moving. And in that darkness, the mind begins to panic. It whispers, "Maybe nothing's happening. Maybe I'm being left behind." But Buddhist wisdom invites you to sit quietly in that moment and listen more deeply, because not seeing does not mean not becoming. The seed does not sprout in the light. It begins in silence, in soil, buried in what looks like nothing. And yet, it is already becoming. Just because your eyes see no movement doesn't mean your soul isn't in motion. Faith is not the ability to believe when everything aligns. It's the willingness to trust when everything falls apart. To sit in the silence of the unseen and still whisper, "I believe." The sun does not rise because you watch it. It rises because that's what it does. The universe does not answer you because you beg it loudly, but because you align quietly. It moves by deeper laws, unseen, unfailing. And sometimes, the only proof of their existence is your peace in their absence. Place your hand gently over your heart. Breathe. Feel the life moving within you, even when all else feels still. Can you trust that something within is also quietly unfolding, rearranging, becoming? Ask yourself softly, do I trust the process only when I can measure it? Or can I find peace in its invisibility? The ego demands signs, evidence, quick results. But the soul asks for surrender, for patience, for belief that life's wisdom is often hidden in its timing. There was once a monk who planted a seed and sat beside it every morning. He would smile at the soil and say, "I believe in you." Days passed, weeks, still no sprout. A young traveler asked, "Why do you keep coming here?" "Nothing is growing." The monk replied, "It is growing, just not where you can see it yet." And then, one morning, a tiny green blade rose through the earth. Not because the monk forced it, but because he trusted it into being. What is meant for you is already moving toward you, but not always in the ways you expect. Some chapters open quietly. Some miracles arrive disguised as delays. Some blessings grow underground in the darkness of your patience. When you are tempted to doubt, remember this. Faith is not passive. It is powerful. It is the steady heartbeat that keeps believing when the world goes silent. It is what you speak into your soul when your mind has no answers left. So let your faith rise, even when nothing else does. Whisper to the universe, "I trust in what I cannot yet see." And trust that the energy behind that whisper is already reshaping your future. You don't have to see the light to know the sun is coming. You just have to hold your ground until it does. Be still, believe, and the path will appear. 5. Detachment is the magnet of true power. There is a strange truth hidden in the silence of letting go, that what you release often finds its way back, and what you cling to tends to slip away. We're taught that desire fuels success, that grasping brings gain, that the tighter we hold, the safer we are. But Buddhist wisdom teaches the opposite. It teaches that freedom is not found in control, it's found in release. Only the one who can walk away is truly free. Not because they don't care, but because they trust. Detachment is not disconnection, it's choosing presence over possession and trust over tension. There is a story of a monk who lived beside a stream. One day, a beautiful jade cup floated toward him. He took it, admired its beauty, and placed it beside his bed. But each night, he worried it might fall. Each wind, each sound, made his heart race. He began to guard it, fear it, worship it. Eventually, the monk took the jade cup, walked to the stream, and let it go. "It is mine only when I no longer need to keep it," he whispered. In that moment, peace returned. Not because the cup was his, but because it no longer owned him. Detachment isn't about walking away from life. It's about not needing it to unfold a certain way in order to be at peace. Like the flame that stands still and yet draws every moth, your calmness, your stillness, your inner glow attracts what is meant for you. Not because you chase it, but because you've become a home for it. When you stop grasping, you become magnetic. The things that are meant for you begin to notice. They return. They rise. Because now, you are the lantern, not the seeker. Sit for a moment, breathe slowly, and picture this. All your worries, all your cravings, all your must-haves resting in your open palm. Now gently release them. Watch them float like lanterns into the vast, infinite sky. They are not lost, they are free. And in their freedom, they may find their way back to you in the form they were meant to be. Not what your fear wanted, but what your soul needed. So ask yourself, what have I been chasing that should be flowing? Is it love, success, approval? Can I love without clinging, strive without stressing, hope without demanding? Can I hold space without holding tight? The one who lets go is not weak. They are wise. They understand the sacred law of the universe. What is meant for you will never miss you, and what misses you was never meant to stay. Let go of forcing. Let go of fear. Let go of the timeline in your head. You are not here to grip life. You are here to live it openly, lightly, fully. And as you walk your path with grace and calm, the things that resonate with your soul will find their way to you. Not because you chased them, but because you became someone who no longer needed to. The glow of peace, the quiet power of detachment. This is your true magnet. 6. Surrender is an act of strength, not defeat. There comes a time in every journey when the path no longer responds to force. You try harder, push more, plan deeper, but nothing moves. The doors remain shut. The answers stay silent. And in that silence, frustration grows. We think surrender means giving up, waving a white flag to life's uncertainty. But in the eyes of Buddhist wisdom, surrender is not defeat. It's devotion to truth. It is strength in its highest form, for only the brave can stop fighting and begin flowing. To surrender is not to lose, the teaching says, but to merge with a greater rhythm. The river does not resist the mountain. It moves around it, softly, patiently, with unwavering grace. A student once asked a master, "How do I know when to stop trying?" The master replied, "When your trying has turned into struggling, and your struggling has turned into suffering. There's a line we all cross, where effort becomes resistance, and persistence becomes pain. At that line, the soul doesn't need more pressure, it needs peace. Surrender is not passivity. It is the deepest form of participation with life's flow. It's trusting that the current knows where it's going, even when you don't. Close your eyes for a moment. Breathe in. Imagine yourself as a leaf floating gently on the river. You do not know where the stream is leading, but you are not afraid. You are light. You are held. And as you release control, you begin to move faster, not through force, but through harmony. The stone at the river's edge may be heavy, may seem strong, but it does not move. The leaf, with its softness, reaches the ocean first. Ask yourself gently, where am I still swimming upstream? What truth am I refusing to accept? What part of me is still shouting at the river, demanding it to turn? Life whispers when we are quiet enough to hear. It guides not through noise, but through nudges. That delay, that closed door, that unexpected turn. It is not punishment, it is redirection. The universe is not denying you. It is delivering you to something deeper, but only if you stop resisting the way it's choosing to take you there. Letting go is not easy, but neither is holding on to what is already falling apart. Sometimes peace is not found in solving the problem, but in surrendering the need to control it. This is not weakness. This is sacred wisdom. To bow to the flow of life is to trust that something beyond your understanding is leading you somewhere better than your expectation. So today, take one breath and lay down your need to know. Allow the moment to be what it is. Allow life to unfold the way it must. The wave knows how to carry you. The tide knows when to pull back and when to lift. You are not alone. You are afloat. You are not behind. You are becoming. And perhaps the very thing you seek is already on its way, waiting for you to stop swimming and start flowing. Remember this: the river never asks the leaf where it should go. It simply carries it to where it belongs. Be the leaf. Be the one who surrenders with grace. And let the universe do what it's always done: deliver you to the ocean of what you truly deserve. 7. Craving blocks clarity. When desire turns into craving, the heart begins to forget how to see clearly. Like a mirror fogged by our breath, we stare at life through the mist of wanting, imagining, projecting, reaching. But nothing sharpens, nothing settles. Craving doesn't bring us closer to what we seek. It pulls us further from peace. Buddhist wisdom reminds us gently, the fog of want makes the path disappear. And indeed, when we crave too much, we miss what is already within our reach. We think we are pursuing clarity, but we're only stirring more dust in still waters. There once was a seeker who asked a monk, "Why does life feel so confusing when I want something deeply?" The monk poured tea into a cup until it overflowed. "This is your mind when it is filled with craving," he said. "It cannot hold peace because it is already full of need. When you want too much, you stop seeing. When you chase too hard, you miss the turning path, the gentle nudge, the quiet whisper that could have guided you home." Craving blinds us, not because desire is evil, but because obsession steals stillness. Close your eyes for a moment. Picture your desires as warm breath on a mirror. Now, exhale, slowly, softly. Watch the fog begin to fade. Behind it, you see light, you see form, you see clearly. When we let go of craving, life becomes visible again. The right things were never far away, they were just hidden by our urgency. You are not being punished by delays, you are being refined by them. The universe is not ignoring you. It is waiting for your heart to clear enough to recognize what it's trying to give. Ask yourself gently, are your desires helping you see or hiding your truth? Is the thing you want clouding your joy, your peace, your ability to be here now? What if the very thing you were chasing wasn't the key, but the distraction? In truth, peace does not come when we get everything we want. It comes when we no longer need everything to go our way in order to feel whole. The soul becomes free the moment it can rest in being, rather than grasping for more. Stillness does not mean you stop dreaming. It means you stop demanding. It means you trust that what is meant for you cannot miss you, not because you crave it, but because you are aligned with it. You no longer chase, you attract. You no longer beg, you breathe. And from that breath, the mirror clears and the light returns. Not because life changed, but because you did. So pause, breathe again. Let your cravings fall to the ground like autumn leaves, and notice how much lighter you become. What remains is not less, it's real. When the fog lifts, you'll find the path was always there. Quiet, steady, waiting to be seen. Craving clouds the truth. Calm reveals it. Let the fog fade, let the light in. Let the universe finally reach you. 8. Calmness is the language of the universe. There is a reason the answers often arrive in the quiet moments, when the world has hushed and your thoughts no longer shout for attention. The universe does not respond to noise, it listens for calm. Like a great wind that only hears the softest whisper, it bends toward those who have stilled their inner storm. Calmness, the masters say, is not weakness. It is the language the universe understands. A lake cannot reflect the sky while it's rippling in unrest. Only when the water becomes still can it mirror the heavens clearly. In the same way, your soul becomes a mirror, not when it is striving, but when it is serene. There once was a man who sat at the edge of a forest every day, asking the wind for direction. He shouted his questions, begged for signs, demanded clarity. But nothing came. One day, an old monk sat beside him in silence. No words, no request, just stillness. Minutes passed. Then the wind shifted, leaves rustled, and a feather floated down before them. The man asked, Why does the universe answer you and not me? The monk smiled. Because I listen not to respond, but to receive. In our desperation for answers, we often forget how to truly listen. Ask yourself gently, what emotional noise are you carrying? Worry, overthinking, fear, resentment. These become like thunder inside the mind, so loud they drown out intuition. You ask for peace, but cling to the very chaos that keeps it away. You search for guidance, but your volume is too high to hear the soft nudges that the universe sends. The truth is never shouted, it is whispered. And unless you quiet down, you will miss it. Close your eyes now, breathe in, and soften. Let go of the need to figure it all out. Let go of the tension behind every question. Imagine yourself as a still lake, untouched by wind or worry. In that stillness, reflection appears. In that calm, insight arrives, not forced, not demanded, but gently offered. Calmness is not about sitting idle. It's about being fully present. When you are present, you become magnetic, and what is meant for you starts making its way toward you, not out of urgency, but alignment. You don't have to chase answers. You have to clear the noise that's covering them. You don't have to scream to be heard. You only need to whisper and wait. The universe is listening. It always has been. But it can only respond when your heart becomes quiet enough to understand its reply. Be the still lake. Be the soft whisper. Let calmness become your way of calling in what is already meant to be yours. 9. Your energy is what arrives first. There is a quiet truth that lives behind all manifestation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Long before life hands you the results you chase, it reads the frequency of your being. Before your words arrive, your energy has already spoken. And the universe, subtle, intelligent, unhurried, listens not to your desires, but to your vibration. A tuning fork only begins to sing when touched by a matching note. So too, your reality begins to shift only when your inner state matches what you say you're waiting for. A student once came to a monk and asked, "Why am I doing all the right things, but nothing is changing?" The monk replied, "You are planting seeds of bamboo, but your hands tremble with doubt. Energy is not hidden, it is felt. You can speak of calm, yet carry chaos. You can say you are ready, but still fear the outcome." The universe doesn't reward your words. It reflects your essence. If you radiate uncertainty, you attract confusion. If you radiate peace, you draw in peace. What you are inwardly becomes your invitation outwardly. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine yourself already living the peace, love, or success you long for. Not in the future, but now. Breathe into that version of you. Feel it. Settle into it. That frequency, calm, grounded, assured. That is what the universe recognizes. It's not pretending. It's alignment. It's showing life that you are no longer chasing something outside of yourself, but finally becoming it within. Ask yourself sincerely, what does my current energy invite into my life? Do I radiate trust or tension? Do I embody the peace I say I desire, or do I wait for peace to arrive before I allow myself to feel it? Most people reverse the path. They wait to feel good after life changes. But Buddhist wisdom teaches, become the change first, and life will match your vibration. Just as still waters attract still skies, your inner state shapes your outer experience. So the work is not in forcing the outcome. It's in tuning your frequency. Morning by morning, thought by thought, breath by breath. Let your presence become calm. Let your words flow from clarity. Let your actions rise from inner peace. And soon, what you once chased will begin moving toward you. Not because you demanded it, but because you finally became a match for it. The universe doesn't rush, but it never forgets. Become what you seek, and the rest will find you. Let your energy arrive first, and everything else will follow. 10. Timing is sacred, not late. Not everything blooms in spring. Some flowers are meant to open beneath the full weight of summer. Others wait for the soft hush of autumn. But none bloom because they are begged to. They bloom because the time is right. So it is with your journey. The universe does not respond to your desperation. It responds to your readiness. And readiness, like a seed in the earth, often looks like stillness on the surface. Yet within, something sacred is unfolding. You may feel lost in the waiting, like nothing is happening. You may think you're behind, that others have already arrived where you're meant to be. But you are not late. You are being shaped. A seed beneath the soil is not inactive. It is gathering strength, breaking open quietly, anchoring itself in the dark before reaching for the light. Just because you can't see your growth doesn't mean it's not happening. Trust this unseen unfolding. Trust that even silence has purpose. A young monk once asked his master, "Why is my progress so slow? I meditate, I serve, I wait, and yet I feel no transformation." The master handed him a lantern and led him outside into the night. "Look at the sky," he said. "Where are the stars?" The monk frowned. "I can't see them." The master smiled gently. "Because it's not dark enough yet. Some things only appear in the stillness of night." And that was the lesson. The darkness you resist may be preparing you to see what can only be seen in the absence of distraction. So breathe and stop rushing. Life is not behind schedule. The universe has not forgotten you. In Buddhism, we're taught to bow even to the moment we do not understand, because all things, even delays, are threads in a larger design. You don't need to force the outcome. You only need to remain open, attentive, faithful. What is yours will find you, not a moment too early, not a breath too late. Ask yourself, what would shift if you trusted the wait was sacred? What peace might return to you if you no longer saw time as an enemy, but as a quiet teacher? There is a deep wisdom in patience. A flower does not worry it is blooming too slowly. It simply grows toward the sun, moment by moment, without questioning the pace. So, live today, not in fear of missing something, but in reverence for what's being prepared for you. Practice presence instead of panic. Breathe into the timing instead of resisting it. The stars do not arrive on command, but they always arrive. And when they do, they illuminate the entire sky. Let your life unfold in the same sacred rhythm. Calm is your power. Trust is your posture. And your only task is to be ready to receive what is already making its way to you. 11. What you deserve isn't given, it's recognized. You do not chase the sunrise, you simply rise with it. The same is true for what you truly deserve. You do not earn it through striving, chasing, or proving. You receive it by remembering. Remembering who you are beneath the noise, beneath the identity built on expectations, beneath the stories you were told about what you must achieve to be worthy. What you deserve is not awarded like a prize. It is recognized by the universe the moment you align with your truth. There is a quiet power in those who no longer beg life to notice them. Like a lighthouse standing tall on the shore, they do not run after ships. They shine, constant, clear, unmoved. And that light, that deep inner knowing, is what guides everything they're meant for directly toward them. The lighthouse doesn't hustle. It remembers its purpose and it radiates. And that is the invitation, not to push harder, but to become still and bright in who you already are. A seeker once came to a monk and said, "I've done everything. I've read the texts, practiced the rituals, served the temple. Why does peace still avoid me?" The monk looked into his eyes and asked, "In all your doing, have you stopped to be?" The seeker hesitated. "To be what?" "To be you," the monk said. "Not the version the world applauds, but the version that needs no applause." This is the shift, from effort to essence, from trying to earn to simply allowing what's already yours to recognize you. You do not need to become someone else to be deserving. In fact, every time you try to be more than you are, you drift further from your center, and the universe waits. It does not punish, it simply pauses. Because it will never send the right things to the wrong identity. It waits for you to return to you. That is when it delivers, swiftly, effortlessly, unmistakably. So close your eyes. See yourself standing still, not lost, not broken, not lesser, but whole, luminous, calm. Breathe into that version. Let go of the mask that strives. Let go of the ache to be chosen. And ask gently, what if everything I seek is already seeking me, and I've just been too loud to hear it arrive? The moment you stop trying to deserve and start to embody, your entire life changes. Your worth is not measured by how much you give or how hard you try. Your worth is measured by how deeply you live in your truth. When you speak from alignment, life listens. When you act from integrity, life responds. And when you trust your energy more than your effort, life delivers. So stand like the lighthouse, unshaken, illuminated, and let what is meant for you find its way, not to the version of you trying so hard, but to the one who has remembered, I am already enough. Bonus lesson. The universe responds to inner stillness, not outer struggle. There is a strange thing about silence. It speaks the loudest. In a world obsessed with motion, we forget that some of the greatest shifts happen in stillness. We mistake movement for progress, noise for importance, effort for worth. But Buddhism teaches, the more you become, the less you need to do. Not because action is wrong, but because without clarity, action is noise. And noise repels the very things we are trying to call in. The universe does not respond to panic. It responds to peace. It does not follow force. It follows alignment. Once, a disciple asked a master, "How do I make my life work?" The master, without a word, poured tea into a cup until it overflowed. The disciple flinched. "It's spilling." The master looked at him and said, "Your mind is like this cup. It's too full to receive anything new. Until you empty it, nothing more can come in." We are like that too. We act out of urgency, filling every moment, trying to fix, control, manifest. But we forget that the universe is not deaf. It's simply waiting for the noise within us to soften, so it can finally speak. Imagine a garden at dawn. The wind is still, the leaves are unmoved. In that quiet space, the dew forms. The light touches the earth gently. Life unfolds, not because something forced it to, but because the conditions welcomed it. You are that garden, and your energy is the soil. When you are calm, grounded, honest, what is meant for you begins to grow. Not overnight, not all at once, but in divine rhythm. Ask yourself gently, are my actions aligned with trust or with fear? Do I take steps from a space of knowing or from a place of scarcity? Sometimes we chase not because we believe something is meant for us, but because we're afraid it won't come unless we grab it first. But what belongs to you never needs to be chased, it only needs to be received. And receiving is not passive, it is powerful. It is the courage to be still long enough for the universe to recognize your signal. A temple bell doesn't ring when you hit it in panic. It sings when touched with presence. In the same way, your life doesn't sing when driven by restlessness. It resonates when touched by truth. You don't need to become more. You need to remember more deeply who you already are. When your heart is still and your actions reflect that stillness, life listens differently. The energy you send becomes magnetic. What you've been chasing begins to find you. Let today be the day you soften your grip. The day you stop forcing doors to open and instead prepare yourself to walk through the ones that will. Let your focus shift from proving to becoming. Because once you become the person who is ready, what you truly deserve will come. Not in chaos, but in quiet. Not through struggle, but through surrender. Quick summary of the spiritual lessons. The universe waits for stillness. When your mind is chaotic, the answers you seek remain hidden. The universe only moves in when you stop pushing and allow stillness to take over. The pull of desperation repels. Destiny. Desperation stems from fear, not faith. The more you try to force outcomes, the more you push them away. When life is silent, the universe is rearranging. Silence isn't rejection, it's sacred preparation. Things are aligning in the background in ways you cannot yet see. Faith is built in the unseen. The true test of faith is not in knowing, but trusting. Growth happens long before it becomes visible. Detachment is the magnet of true power. Letting go of obsession allows space for what's meant for you to come. Detachment isn't disinterest, it's freedom. Surrender is an act of strength, not defeat. Surrendering doesn't mean giving up. It means aligning with life's rhythm instead of resisting it. Craving blocks. Clarity. Over-attachment blinds you. The stronger your craving, the more distorted your perception becomes. Calmness is the language of the universe. The universe responds to calm, steady energy, not to emotional chaos. Stillness reveals direction. Your energy is what arrives first. Before anything physical arrives, your internal frequency attracts or repels it. You become what you align with. Timing is sacred, not late. What you seek may not be delayed, just perfectly timed. Learn to trust divine timing, not your urgency. What you deserve isn't given. It's recognized. You don't have to prove your worth. You receive what's aligned with who you've become, not what you demand. The universe responds to inner stillness, not outer struggle. It's not frantic action, but your inner state that shapes your reality. The quieter you become inside, the clearer life unfolds outside. There is a secret rhythm to the universe, and it doesn't move when you panic. It moves when you pause. It bends not to force, but to stillness. We are conditioned to chase, to strive, to achieve. Yet true spiritual maturity begins the moment you unclench your fists and allow space to exist between your desires and their arrival. That space is where the divine works. All your waiting, your wondering, your quiet prayers, they were never in vain. Every moment you chose patience over panic, silence over struggle, presence over pressure. You aligned more deeply with your highest self. The universe doesn't forget. It simply waits for you to become ready enough to receive what you've always deserved. When you stop needing what you desire, it starts finding its way to you. Let the noise settle. Let the ego rest. and let your spirit soften into the truth. You don't need to chase what is already meant for you. Close your eyes and ask yourself, am I trying to control life, or am I finally ready to trust it? If this brought you peace, like and share this message. Let your thoughts flow in the comments.